Okay, where is everybody else?
I don't
Probably
know.
not sure.
I
It's
am
a
supposed
Friday.
to be here.
Everyone's probably out.
I've only spoken to Lana.
Yeah, Lara said she couldn't get out.
I am supposed to be here, but he said he would be leaving earlier because he's going home, wherever that is.
I was going to say, where's home?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I don't know. I hope he hasn't checked the weather and thinks it's snowing and he decided to go now. Because
Do you know, every lecturer looked at the weather today that I've spoken to and gone, yeah, we're going to have no students this afternoon, so everyone's going to go home.
Yeah.
So you're going home,
but
you're
it's
going
just
home.
raining and we're in England.
Yes. I did hear words of sleet.
Yeah, but
Anyone else
England
need to go home early? No? Good. Right. Fantastic. Actually,
is preferable, but I can stay, I guess.
do you want to see what I do in the gym?
Yeah.
You're weightlifting.
You started weightlifting again that break your back.
It won't break my back. My back's stronger than anybody.
Yeah, but last time you
That's 170 kilos.
last time you break your back,
How
innit?
long have you been?
No, I've never.
You were using when you were level 4. You were limping leg. You say it's gym. I said, why are you doing all that? He says,
Yeah, but injury happens all
How
the
long have you
time.
been in the gym?
I've been doing it for
I like
years
gym
now.
anyway.
Do you do any competitions or anything?
Yeah, I came third in the UK.
Oh my god.
Yeah, across 3 lifts now, I lift over 400 kilos. I lift 420 kilos between squat, deadlift
Yeah.
and a bench. I bench 87 and a half.
Oh my god.
I know.
You're lucky if you get 30 out of me.
Maybe 30, 20.
I squat 165.
Oh my god.
That's both of us combined.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know
it's
what
like
judges.
everything just takes a practice. Like how often during the day you do this movement with lying down, you know? It's like people sometimes think like, oh, they need to be good at pull-ups. But what activities do you do during the day when you
Yeah.
actually imitate that movement of pulling yourself? So it's just practice.
I hang off the
You'll
board all
get
the
there.
time. See if we can get this to work. Oh, what's going on?
We will just have to talk.
I've got. I spoke to Matilde, and she did remind me that I had okayed it for you guys to create your own data in AI if you want to, but the actual analysis of it, where you're actually explaining the recommendations, can't be done in AI. I think that's where Matilda and I got at cross purposes.
Yeah, but and she also said, because we were talking a lot about data extractions and things like that, and I said that we haven't really done that much. So she said for the not next week, but the week after, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
when we've got some rather light subjects,
Yeah.
she said she's gonna do a half a session on this one, and
Yeah.
then if we bring the work that we did, she can say whether the data is extracted in the right way and kind of if we go in the
Yeah.
data, because the analysis is, I mean, it's not easy, but yeah, with a textbook and things you can do it, but the data extraction, I don't think we've really done
No,
such things. So
No.
yeah, so she said she can help with that.
that's cool. Because what we're going to do today is I want to cover the assignment again, just to make sure everybody's really happy with it. Because I know that I should have been clearer with Matilda, and that's on me. That's not her at all. She had emailed me saying, "Can you use AI for the data analysis?" And when you guys repeated it back to me, I thought you meant actually extrapolating the information and explaining what was going on. She actually meant creating the pie charts and things, which yes, you can if you can't find any. But you know, even if you can take that data and put it into your own charts and graphs, etc., which would be really good because it's data visualization. But let's get registered, everybody, and let's get moving because I want to make sure everybody is. Are you going away? Are you going away?
No, I always carry it.
Oh,
because I carry a lot of gadgets, so it's easy for me. Before I used to carry to back, but I having pain. So my children say I should drag this one.
10 minutes.
Hello? Oh, you drink a lot of Coke.
I don't drink tea or coffee.
Do you? Wow.
It's only like 1 calorie per like
It's half a calorie.
half a calorie.
Yeah, I carry suitcase. I like my suitcase.
A lot of numbers.
Mm.
Right. So before you leave today, I just need to get a time in for you to do your presentation, because you're doing it on your own, aren't you?
This thing is not working.
No, I'm doing it with someone, it's just I can't do it on that Friday.
Right, okay, so I forget who you're doing it with.
K Mario.
Okay, are they gonna do it remotely as well?
Yeah, if I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
another day, I might as well.
Okay, that's fine.
29?
Right, have we all registered?
No,
Yes.
Yeah.
18. 18.
Where is the person you're working with?
That's the thing, I don't know. I think he actually probably just gave up and went home, wherever that is.
You had Suzanne this morning.
Yes,
Did you start later or just short?
9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9:30, so half an hour later.
So we did that to try and make it so that people would come here in the afternoon. So, no, okay, right. So as we're losing 2 of you, almost 50% of the class, at 3 o'clock, I want to cover the assignment. Right, so let's think about excelling in your presentation. You all have partners, or you're in a 3, you need to make sure you practice. One of the things that we really notice when we actually grade presentations, we have a grid sheet, and that grid sheet tells us what to expect, and that grid sheet is pretty much makes up the rubric on the end of your assignment brief. So if you look at that rubric, and we're going to go through that, I'll open up the assignment brief after I've gone through the slides. If you look at that rubric, it really does break it down for you very, very well where you're getting your marks. So when we sit there and grade your presentations, we're looking at something very similar to the rubric. So you should all, for a presentation, you are all more than capable of getting well over 60 and into the 70s. There's nobody in this room that shouldn't be, because the answers are there in the rubric. So let's have a look at how to excel. Right, so datafication, we all know what that is. Concepts of big data, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, mobile technology, augmented reality is proving real-time data insights for decision making by managers. So we are going to examine data analytics, and it can be in cross-functional areas within the business, such as marketing, e-commerce, partnerships, operations, logistics, business strategy, HR and finance. If you stay within those areas, they are going to produce an awful lot of data for you. And if you're choosing a large company to look at, sort of Apple, IBM, Amazon, Nike, any of British Airways, any of those big organisations, there is so much data out there that you will have no problem. And I feel like there's nobody in the room that isn't using a big organisation. So you should all be fine. So it's really about how we design and collate the data, how we interpret and visualise, but also the presentation of the data. You need to imagine that you are presenting this to a boardroom. If you think about it, one day you will all hopefully have jobs where you're walking into a boardroom and you're having to present to people. And when you present to people, you are giving them a high-level overview, but able to put substance to it. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
It's kind of like having a skeleton and putting meat on the bones. Yeah, like getting a pork chop bone and actually putting the meat back on it. But don't do that if you want protein, because it's the least protein heavy of the meats. So what you're doing is, in your presentation, you are providing substance to the slides. This is a slide heavy in text. But when you're in a boardroom, that's not really what you want to be doing. You need bullet points, you need to be concise, you need to basically develop the art of précis on your slides, whilst as the speaker, underpin it with substance. So you notice that I very rarely read off slides. Most lecturers don't, because we know our subjects well enough to underpin what we're talking about with really good content and substance. Yes, you need speaker notes, but your speaker notes should never be a script. Your speaker notes should be maybe a list of single words, not to forget that content or that topic. I used to, when I worked in learning and development for quite some time, and I used to go out and teach people digital marketing. And I would sometimes only have one word on the slide, but I'd stay on that slide for 15 minutes talking about it. So if you, for example, talking about the marketing funnel. Marketing funnels are great because you can get so much data. Just even thinking about a marketing funnel, my immediate thoughts go to conversion rate. What we're putting in the top of a funnel, what's coming out of the bottom. And you don't want to be what in old money we call a busy fool. What you want to do is work smarter, not harder, which means you only need things going in the top of the marketing funnel that you believe you can convert. It's no good shoving 10,000 people into your marketing funnel if you can only convert 1% of them. You're better to only put 100 people in and convert 90%, because there's less work involved in that. So it's less expensive. So it's important that when you're presenting that you actually can underpin whatever's on the board with a lot of good content, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, because obviously we are in the age of AI, we are in the age of every single piece of information that you could possibly want being available to you, one of the things that we want to know as lecturers is that you've done the wider reading. There's lots of documents and videos and things on Blackboard, and if you look, there is a lot there for you to read, to absorb, to understand, to think about. You're not going to learn everything you need to know about data analytics in one classroom session. You guys have 2 classroom sessions. But you would literally need to be in here 40 hours a week to learn everything. Which is why when you go onto Blackboard, and I'm just going to take you onto Blackboard and show you, because I have had a little look at Blackboard, and it does actually show us how many people have actually accessed each individual item on Blackboard. So when you go into the module materials, there's a little roundup of the overall module here, but then you've got by week. So for week 5, ethics and legalities. So you can see here, we've got lots of things. How many of you have been on and had a look at all of these things?
No,
No?
I only check the week. I don't check it.
This is week 5.
Yeah, I'm on week 5.
Yeah, but have you been into, for example, last week in week 4 and looked at all of these things? Because there's a lot of extra curricular stuff there.
There's a lot to be done.
Yeah, because it's the wider reading and the wider research and the extra knowledge. So, hiya. I wasn't expecting you, is it? Didn't you say he was going home?
Yeah, so we're supposed to be later.
Oh, I
and then
see, okay.
I'm going to be going on
And then I thought, yeah, maybe you'll
So-
abandon us altogether.
No.
So you can see here, there are an awful lot of things within Blackboard for every single week. That's week 4. Then you've got week 3. And you can see I've put in extra reading here. Look, this one is some lovely stuff on business intelligence. And just as an FYI, Blackboard does tell us how many of you have been on every single thing. And there are things in here that have got 0 people that have been on. So we know that we have people that we need to supply slides ahead of time for and resources ahead of time, and these resources are there, and we need to get you guys going on and looking at them. I mean, this one, Data Visualization Friday, this is really, really lovely, and it is all about how to present all about how to present your work and kinds of charts and things. And bearing in mind data visualization is part of the course,
Visualization.
we should be actually seeing people actually access that. This one on the impact of GDPR. I know it's 100 pages long, but all of these modules have got guided learning hours. So it's not just the hours you spend in the classroom, it's actually the extra work that you do outside of the classroom that is going to help you write a really good presentation. And the GDPR, if you guys have got aspirations to go into business, so what do you guys want to do when you leave uni?
Come on.
You don't,
I'm sorry, the project management.
project management. There's no project manager in the world that doesn't touch GDPR. Because if you trade with an English company, if you trade with a company in Europe, even though we've come out of the EU, we still have to uphold the rules of GDPR because we trade with Europe. And every company that trades with Europe has to adhere to GDPR. And you need to know this stuff. So unless you're planning on going and working for a company in, I don't know, Papua New Guinea, which possibly doesn't trade with Europe, and I wouldn't recommend it, knowing the few things that I do know about it. It seems quite a scary place.
Jackie, what week is it? Is it week 3?
This one is week 5.
Oh, I'm on week 5 anyway, but let me search for it.
So you need to be going on these. Look, there's Navigating Ethical Data Science, which is a lovely video.
Hello.
But I'm not going to show that in the classroom because it's over an hour. And all of this extra reading is here for you guys to actually develop your knowledge. And that's another one, look, on GDPR and the ethics of data visualization and data analytics. So how many of you have actually been on Blackboard and looked at all this stuff? And I know the answers.
No, I used to use Blackboard a lot, but sometimes I don't understand them, so I just look at the slide and I always at the Blackboard.
Because you do all know that I can go in by user and see how much time you've spent on Blackboard, don't you? You all know that.
Yeah. We're good.
So all the information that you need to do well in all of your modules is on Blackboard. And all of your lecturers are putting data and information onto Blackboard for you so that you can actually find what you need.
Hello everyone, welcome to Data Umbrellas webinar.
Why?
I'm going to do a brief introduction and then open.
I bet.
If you go into the assignment brief information,
I'm looking for that GBTR.
well, if you go into week 5 under module materials and then go into week 5,
You
all
say
that GDPR stuff is there.
data analysis, data with
So,
meaning.
Do try to be on there doing the wider reading. You look like you just need a little snooze.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen
I
it.
do get it. I know what the post-gym workout is like. Right, let's just go back to here now. I've griped at you about.
Jesus, this one is too long. What?
Oh my
Nice.
God, Elizabeth, let's
Hey.
just get through this.
It's wider reading. It's more information. Because you know how I said when you do your presentation, you need to underpin your presentation with substance and more content. I've given you all the content. There's plenty on Blackboard for you to go through and read and watch. So nobody should be saying to me, you don't have the information you need. Okay, right, so just to reaffirm, you need to be able to show that you understand the role and importance of data analytics in the business world. Why have we got no lights?
I don't know.
Why is it not working?
I thought it was a power cut, then I realised outside's on still.
If you sit in here for a long time on your own, the lights do go off. I was having learner meetings earlier, and I was just sat talking to various learners, and I must have been really still because the lights just went off his phone. And so I'm sat there while I'm talking to my learners doing this, trying to get.
What did you
Wi-Fi.
say? You're talking to various learners.
But yeah, because a lot of my learners are only in once every 3 weeks because they're apprentices.
Okay.
Right, so you need to show in your PowerPoint that you understand the role and importance of data analytics in the business world. So what is the importance of data analytics in the business world? In week 5, you should all know this. What's the importance of it?
Data analysis important.
Yes,
They use it to store their information.
yes.
And
Why
they-
is it important?
Well, I
So,
think you
hang on to me.
it can help the growth of a business.
It can help the growth of a business how?
Tracking its profits and losses.
Tracking its profits and losses.
And where to establish new branch.
Okay, but can we just go back to this tracking profits and losses? What's the data analytics there, and what do you take from that?
Okay.
Okay, so let's work on a little bit of a case study. So, say for example, you are Asda, and you have 1,000 cans of Heinz baked beans. You have 1,000 cans of Cross and Blackwell beans, and you have 1,000 cans of Asda's own beans. Yeah? Now the data analytics is telling me we've sold 850 cans of Tesco Asda's own beans. We've only sold 400 cans of Heinz baked beans, but we've sold 500 cans of Cross and Blackwell baked beans. What does that data tell us? Yes, you're right, it's tracking the data, but we don't just want to gather data. We're not in the jobs of data gatherers. It's
No, we
data
can just
analytics.
apply it for the business decisions.
You wanna predict?
Keep going.
Predict what will happen.
It can help predict. Yes, keep
And-
going.
And it can help you if they are setting up a new branch, know where to, if, let's say people that live in suburb and they want to they have advantage of setting a shop in suburb or setting a shop in city. So their data analysis each will make them to know where to set up
Okay,
branch first.
so data analysis can help you make.
Expand.
Decision.
Who said that? But what kind of decisions?
Future decisions.
Say that again.
Future decisions. I don't know the name of it.
Not quite.
If you're selling
Word
more-
beginning with I.
GB.
What is data? What is data? It is what?
Information.
Information. So it can help you make informed decisions. Thank you, we got there. Yes, and this is what you need to be able to explain in your presentation, that based on the data that you have gathered, you can make informed recommendations for that company. Yeah? Because it's no point, you are exactly right, you can track data, but being able to sit there as a CEO, say you are a CEO of an organisation, and go, well, I know we made 50% losses in 2020, I know we made 30% gains in 2021. What use is that unless you can take away something from it and make decisions to make changes? Because if you're constantly making a loss, you need to be able to look at the data and say, what are we doing wrong that we can put right so that we can actually make some informed decisions? Yeah? Now you would think Rachel Reeves would apply that, but apparently not. So what we need to do is we need to examine a range of data analytic methodologies and technologies. So what do we mean by a range of data analytics? What is a range of data?
Range of different type of data.
Okay.
Secondary data, primary
Sorry?
data.
Max, the amount of data you can have, or
Okay, so when you're saying the maximum amount of data you can have, what do you mean? We've got some people being quiet.
Mm.
So when we say a range of data,
Range of data. That thing we said about level 4.
You look into different aspects of the business, so customer,
yeah?
the actual business side.
Brilliant, yes. So thank you, you guys got there in the end. Well done. So a range of data. It could mean we're looking at where money is coming in. It could be, particularly if you're a government organisation like the NHS, where money is going out. It could be that we're looking at
Development.
data that is calendar data, when things are going out. Is it seasonal? Is it by month? Do we have higher here or lower there? I was talking to Chartered Managers Institute this morning and they were saying that they have peaks in July. Why? Because that's the end of the academic year. They have lows in September because that's the beginning of the academic year and they're not putting as many people through exams at the beginning, logically. So you can have a range of data. Applied data analysis techniques. What's data analysis techniques?
Applied data analysis.
What you do with the data. Doesn't get any simpler than that. So you were right earlier, it's a big pile of data. We've got a massive pile of data. But having a big pile of data is like having a marketing strategy that you pop in the drawer and go, we're never going to, we've written one, now what do we do with it? Yeah? You can have a strategic objective, but if you never actually get it out and apply it, it's like having a big pile of bricks. It's very useless. We need to take the data and actually do something with it. We need to look at it, we need to interpret it, we need to understand it. Data's exciting because it's all numbers and numbers speak. They're like, hello, I'm number 4, hello, I'm number 4. No, I'm joking. So it's really an exciting space. So when you're applying data analysis techniques, what might you be looking for?
Trends.
Trends, yes. And what's a trend? What's a trend?
I don't know what trend is.
Yes, you do.
Do
Yeah, I'm looking at what you've got on your feet, I'm looking at your clothes, I'm looking at your tattoos, I'm looking at your glasses. You know what trends are.
I? What you follow.
What you follow. Exactly. So how do we follow a trend in data analytics?
Could be something repeating.
Be something repeating. Fantastic. We're really getting this. What else? What else might we look for?
So like patterns and
Um,
stuff.
Hang on.
Like patterns and stuff.
Patterns, yeah, and things repeating. So yeah, exactly. And when you get this data from these large organisations, you should be in a position where you can look for trends and patterns. And this is why data visualisation is so important. And it's why a pie chart is really rubbish for data visualisation, because it won't show you those ebbs and flows. It will just show you a very static piece of information. Whereas sort of things like bar charts and line graphs and scatter graphs really do show you the peaks and troughs of data analytics, and it's why they say not to use pie charts. So we've just established that you do actually know quite a lot about data analytics. It's evidently going in, which is really exciting. So, identify the different approaches data can be presented to different audiences. So, what kind of different approaches might we use? Well, that's all your charts and graphs, isn't it?
Yeah, you basically would present the data different to a 5-year-old and to a bunch of boardroom people. So
But
it's just finding that, yeah.
But also, if you were going to present, I don't know, say data to show that a company has made a profit versus data to show that a company has had a high turnover of staff, would you use the same methodology for visualisation?
No,
Okay, why not?
because there are different things. Like I think, you know, for example, when you talk about
Visualization.
when you pay fees to something,
Yeah.
when the fee is small, you would normally just shorten an app, for example, so show the fee. You know, the large number, you kind of divide and spread it over a longer period of time. And if that makes sense what I'm saying. And something, you know, that is small, you divide so people don't see it as a huge amount that you need to pay. So in the same with this, it might have just a different effect on. Am I just talking
You've gone down the route of hiding data, which is very interesting. You sneaky person. Yeah, you're not wrong in what you're saying. But yeah, you have to present different things in different ways, but also depending on the outputs you want. So for example, if you are, for example, the CEO, we'll keep going back to the CEO of a huge company, say Apple or Asda or Walmart, and you are wanting the board to approve sign-off for millions of pounds of development money, what are you going to want to show?
You're going to show the data that when they are signing this money, they will, let's say, Walmart, they want to say, okay, we want to open a new version of area, so, and you present it to the board. So you have to show them, actually, when we put this money, we're going to get turnover on it. You know?
So every person that ever starts a business, and they start that business with the idea that we're going to make money. Nobody starts a business with the idea that the business is going to fail. What data, if you're working for a large organisation, do you think the board is going to want to see?
Or the profit.
Profit.
How much you're making, how much you're producing, and how much interest it is in the products that you're selling, the services that you're offering.
Perfect. So you're going to want to show profit. You're going to want to show high profits. What else might you show in terms of secondary data?
Profit.
No.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying profit, customer, consumer.
No, not costs.
What you are
Said
selling.
almost every word except the one I'm looking for. So if you're gonna say, right, board, I want you to give me X amount of money because I think we need to set up a new business.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, you're going to want to show profits so that you can afford it. Number two, you're going to show... Yes, you're going to need to show capital, but there's another big one.
Location.
Not quite. We might want to show them who else is doing similar business in the areas, which is competitor analysis, yes, which comes through which of the frameworks. Which business model might you use to present competitor analysis?
What?
Descriptive.
No. It's got number 5 in it. Porter's 5 forces. Well done, we got there. Yeah, exactly. So your secondary data you could show using Porter's 5 forces if you're going to want to present a competitor analysis. But equally, if you have only got one competitor, you might want to show a SWOT on that competitor, saying this is their strengths, this is ours, this is their weaknesses, this is ours. But before you get to that SWOT, you'd need a Porter's. Yeah?
Porter's
5 forces. You should have done that last year. Did you do? Please tell me you did that last year somewhere.
No, I didn't do.
It kind of rings the bell, but I'm not really sure if we all use.
No, you taught us data last year.
No, you should have done Porter's in marketing or pretty much any other foundation business. Okay, we will cover Porter's at the 5 forces
I don't
today.
remember ever using this actually in
I've
any of my
done it.
assignments.
I think we did back on.
A-level people, B-Tech.
Okay, right. We are going to cover Porter's because I assumed you'd all covered it. Okay, so we've talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Understand the limitations and risks associated with data analysis, including cognitive bias. What is cognitive bias?
Cognitive bias.
And I've talked about this before. And if you listen, you know what I'm talking about.
Cognitive.
Think about elections. Think about the pollsters. What's a cognitive bias? Okay, what's a
I
bias?
don't know what the concept of bias is.
Tell me what a bias is. If I have a bias to something, what do I mean?
You're in favour of one thing compared to the other.
Yes. So, for example, I prefer dogs to cats. I love dogs. I'm very unsure of cats because they always seem like they're going to
So
scratch
that
me.
means you wouldn't be able necessarily the best person to do a survey on
Dogs versus cats.
the-
Yeah. And I've used the example many times in many lessons around the pollsters, the electioneering pollsters in both the UK and the US.
Analysis includes cognitive bias. Okay.
About how the pollsters will ask questions that creates a bias. So, for example, the Republican pollsters will ask questions do you think Donald Trump is brilliant or fabulous? And they can only answer one way or another, and so the outcome of it will be 100% of voters asked think Donald Trump is either brilliant or fabulous. They didn't put, do you think he's rubbish? They didn't think, do you think he's a poor president? They asked, do you think he... And that's the kind of bias that some people will interpret data with. The pollsters, their whole job is almost using that cognitive bias. Whereas if you actually want to present data without that risk of cognitive bias, and businesses do see cognitive bias as a genuine risk, because it could be that, for example, as maybe a project manager, you're really committed to a project. Yeah, you want to deliver an amazing project. And sometimes when you're trying to interpret data and look at data, but you're committed to a project, and there's no problem with commitment, you do develop a bias towards that project to the point that you can only read the data in a way that favours it. So it's really important to understand that there are risks when reading data. And those risks sit in the cognitive bias, social, economic and ethical concerns. Now when we start going down social and economic, somebody's already mentioned pestle. And, you know, at the moment we're seeing a lot in the news about interest rates, about the economy, and you can really see the left-wing press is reading it one way and the right-wing press is reading another. And I keep saying this, watch the news, listen, because you'll hear that bias. But what is the risk in that? What is the risk in reading data with any kind of bias? What's the risk to an organisation?
Or you could lose, oh God, what's the word? Maybe I am a bit flashed out today.
You do look peaky. Are you okay?
I don't know. Maybe. I feel, but it's fine. Yeah, I'm definitely missing the words. But
there's loads of flus and stuff going around.
yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. People don't trust you anymore, so you lose the credibility.
Absolutely. So brand reputation you are playing with and risking. Good. What else are you risking? What else do you risk?
Your name,
Yeah, that's the brand reputation. What else?
your business.
Yeah. In what way?
You might be losing customers.
You might lose customers. And what does that mean you could lose? Profit.
Profits.
So the risks associated with not doing data analysis right are huge. So it's really important that when you look at data, you don't have a preconceived bias or an unconscious bias, even though unconscious bias is really difficult. I mean, I used to say Barack Obama could literally stand on a stage and sort of slaughter seals, and people would forgive him because they were so biased towards him. But equally, Donald Trump has very, very similar followers that blindly follow him. And you know, that bias is very, very dangerous when reading data. So it's really important that when you are interpreting your data, that you remain very neutral around it. Okay, so ethical concerns. What are the ethics around data? You started this with Mathilde on Monday, so what are the ethics around data?
Ethical, like putting people's information out there.
Yes.
You have to be careful.
Yes, you do. Why?
You have to take their permission.
Why?
Because it's you just don't. You need to seek their opinion before putting their information.
Yeah, but why?
Isn't that like the law?
It is the law, but why? We're going to play this game for a little while.
Because if you put, let's say I give my address
Mhm.
to Apple, and then they give that out,
Yeah.
people can come to my house.
People can, yes.
So,
And there have been occasions, I think most of you are too young, but about 10, 15 years ago.
Or selling like there's something that happened in the bank. you know, they didn't really actually tell us the information, but they are selling fake.
Mist salt stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's a different thing. What I
Okay.
was going to talk about is probably 10, 15 years ago, maybe a little bit more, there was an occurrence where a very senior police officer left their computer on the train. And on that computer was the information of a lot of women in refuges. And one of the women, her stalker found the information or got hold of it somehow, and she was killed.
Killed.
She was killed.
Jesus.
And you have to be careful. It's why, for example, if I was to take photos of this group today and post it on LinkedIn without your permission, how do I know that one of you isn't in, let's just go silly, in the witness protection programme? Anybody in here could be, and we wouldn't know it. I'm not going to ask you to stick your hands up if you are, don't worry. But, you know, somebody could be.
But how do you stop that in terms of business and things? Obviously, they follow what they have to follow, the the ethical parts and GDPR. But how does this apply to a normal people? You know, I mean, I was at the beach over the weekend and I was doing a cold swimming.
I was going to say, why meant to be on the beach? I think that's another story.
And there was literally, there was a bunch of us, and there was a bloke on the beachfront, literally filming it.
Okay, so unless he was working for a business, you can't stop an individual doing that. But it would be very difficult for him to actually post that picture and put your name on it, because they wouldn't know your name and things like that.
Okay. So the GDPR kind of stuff, that doesn't apply to individuals.
No.
Okay.
Is it not they call it land freak or whatever?
But if, for example, we posted, GDPR kicks into place when you can figure out who somebody is based on the information out there. So if we put a picture of all you guys in the classroom, somebody saw your picture, they'd be able to figure out where you are because of all the stuff on LinkedIn that says BNU, then just need to come and hang around our campus for a few days and they'd find you. And if you were a woman who had been in a relationship where she was then being stalked, that would put you in danger. So we are not allowed to post your pictures, your names, anything without your permission. And that goes for any business.
But you can't post random people on the streets if there's no
It's
way.
different if they're in a public space.
Yeah, because there's no trend as to when
Yeah.
they are.
Because if you were walking down High Wycombe High Street, for example, and they took pictures and somebody went, oh, that's whoever, yeah, unless it specifically said she is here every week at 2 o'clock, it would be very, very difficult for them to be able to figure out exactly where. They would literally have to, if you go there every week, they would have to hang out until you were there next time. And there's no way of knowing that you were going to be there again. So it would be very difficult. However, if an estate agent took a picture of you coming out of your house and put it online, and it had your house address and they could know your street, then we're into a GDPR problem. So GDPR is really, really important, and that data protection is around security. And it's not just on people. I mean, businesses have to protect your information. So if, for example, you went into an estate agent and you said, I'm interested in buying a house, my name is Jim Bob Smith and I live at 1 the street in High Wycombe, and here's my phone number, and they wrote it all down on a piece of paper